What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are and whatever time it is. Welcome back to yet another video with you, man, Immersionholic. And ladies and gentlemen, today we actually have round 1 of the Arena Maxima Medieval Kingdoms 1212 edition tournament for Total War Attila. And this is not just any round 1, this is actually my round 1. That's right, I'm currently, at the time of this recording, competing in the Medieval Kingdoms tournament that I'm running. So this is going to consist of my round 1. I was assigned player Vo, who is over there in the background. I am playing as the Emirate of Granada in our first battle here, and then he is playing as the Duchy of Burgundy. Going to be a really interesting battle here. We have East versus West. We just have all of the battles for this particular round in a single video. I will also not put in timestamps just so you can try to avoid spoilers. But if you would prefer to just have spoilers, comment down below. Let me know. Give me some feedback, okay? But anyway, as I said, we have the Emirate of Granada taking on the Duchy of Burgundy. Round 1, Battle 1. Let's see who's going to make it on to round 2. Let's check out the first army composition first. Alright, so let's go over my army composition. Let's start at the front of my line. It's pretty straightforward here. I have essentially just a line of spears going along here. Oh wow, that's a terrible line. This line's a little bit better. I have 6 of the spearmen. This is the Mustarab al-Jund spearmen, basically quite heavy spearmen. You could almost argue that they're very heavy spearmen. Quite nice. You can see I'm going for 3 deep. This is not like vanilla Rome 2, like back in the day where spaghetti lines could, easily win you the battle. 3 deep is as much as I'd recommend. Even that is kind of pushing it. But then they are backed up by my Machine al-Andalusi infantry. I'm sure I nailed that pronunciation. However, these are mid to heavy swordsmen. They're kind of heavy for this faction. Armor 55, so that's quite decent. But they are no European knights, so we'll see if they're able to actually handle taking on the Europeans here. But I have 6 more of them in my second line, so you can see my strategy is a line of spears to soak up the charge, and then I have swordsmen, which will just simply react to holes that form up in the line, or they may try to outflank the enemy, or they'll just simply hold and then fill in little gaps as my spearmen begin to retreat. The real power behind my army, though, is on the flanks. As you can see, we have cavalry and gunners. That's right. In the Medieval Kingdoms 1212 mod, there are gunners, and we do allow 2 gunners per army in this tournament. So right here, I am not even going to try to pronounce this particular gunner, but this is the heaviest gunner I have. They come in with an armor of 55 as well. That's intentional. Hopefully you'll see why in the battle. We'll see if they get put to use or not. And then over here in the back left-hand corner, we have some Jund al-Nasara heavy cavalry. Very, very heavy cavalry. Again, let's check out their armor. Armor of 90, and I also have given them a crap ton of chevrons. They're just insane. Very, very nice, but there is only 45 per unit. 45 knights, essentially, that's what they are, right? Per unit. So they're going to be very solid, but they could get overwhelmed by numbers. On the right hand flank, I then have another unit of gunners backed up by a single light skirmisher cavalry unit. And then we also have a Batana al-Maluyan? Maluyan? Oh my goodness, need to work on these pronunciations. Anyway, I have another heavy shot cav unit here. However, this isn't as heavy, but they still have an armor of 80, so quite hardy, quite solid. We then get back to the center right here. I have my General Qaid al-Jund cavalry unit. This is more of a mid shot cavalry unit with just an armor of 55, so I do need to be very careful with him. And then over here in the rear, I have 1 more skirmisher cav units. Very light, but it does have javelins, so hopefully there will be enough to take on the enemy. Anyway, I'll press play shortly, but first let's go check out the Burgundy army composition. Alright everyone, let's check out Vo's army starting on the left hand flank. He has some insane knights. He has Chevaliers, Very, very heavy knights, although they do have an armor of 80, so slightly below mine. But he does have 2 units over here, although it is level with one of my units. He then has an insane shock infantry unit, dismounted chevaliers, 90 armor, and just redonkulous stats across the board. These guys are going to be serious killers and very tanky. Dismounted chevaliers, early right there as well. This is the sword version of them though, so very heavy sword, basically knights. He then has medium handgunners right here. Quite solid though, 55 armor, gonna be pretty hardy. These are backed up by some foot costiliers. Essentially, these are polearm infantry, and they're actually quite heavy, again with an armor of 55, not bad at all. Polearms in this mod, I'm still not entirely sure on how effective they are, but you attack them from the front, they're kind of like pikes, short pikes from DEI, so very insane. In the right hands or attacking front on. We then have Pavis crossbowmen. These guys are also pretty heavy crossbowmen considering they're just crossbows, backed up by some Pavisiers, medium spearmen. We then have a Ducal household longbowman, single unit. Ducal heavy foot guard, so another heavy sword unit over here in the back, very heavy considering their swords. A single pike unit over here, again decent armor, 55. Another Ducal household. These are another type of polearm as well. Heavier though, 80 armor. Oh, very, very heavy army he has here. He then has another medium handgunner unit, more dismounted chevaliers. The sword version, but then he has the late version, which is the shock infantry version right there. Again, I'll get another close-up for you. If you're new to the Medieval Kingdoms 1212 mod, one thing you will notice quite quickly is that the units look absolutely incredible. Insane. I can't believe how diverse they are as well, just in a single unit. It really is seriously disgustingly impressive. I think this is one of the best mods in terms of unit variety. In terms of like textures and detail. I don't know how historically authentic or accurate it is, but it just looks bloody good. Anyway, we then have some more cavalry over in the background. He has some chevaliers, very heavy shock cav, and then his general is a Duke's bodyguard unit, super heavy shock cav, 90 armor. Look at these bloody jousting things. They think they're at a hectic tournament. Well, they are. They're at the Arena Maxima tournament, everybody. Anyway, you've gone ahead and seen what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and press play, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit, though, to once our armies are actually close. As you can see, we've got a fair distance between us. Anyway, let's go ahead with round 1, battle 1 of the Arena Maxima Medieval Kingdoms 1212 edition. Alright, everyone, here we go. We're getting quite close to one another now. You can see I'm starting to spread out my wings here. I have my gutters going out there, backed up by my cavalry on the left and right hand flank. My right hand flank is definitely weaker though. I only have skirmishers and then a single heavy shock cav unit. Gunners are very nice though, and I'm trying to use them to protect my cavalry from his cav. They're not going to get you a massive amount of kills. They shoot quite slow, but when they do actually connect their shots to an enemy unit, they get some serious kills. As in, they could like one tap a general if the actual bullet connected. That would be amazing. So, we'll see how well they do, but that's going to be my idea. At least we'll see if it works. Try and screen the enemy. Looks like he has similar thoughts as well, though. He is now also stretching his line across. Mixture of swords, polearms, and spears. Very nice strategy here where he's putting his polearms right behind his spears, so that way he can pull his spears back. No problem. And his polearms will get some insane kills attacking my unit's front on. I do recognize this early on, but I'm going to allow it because I want to fight the flank battle here. Oh, we got to get some shots off here, potentially. His crossbows are over there firing at me, although I'm not really worried about them. Most of my units are quite heavy. Oh, we did miss the volley. They actually did kill one of his units. I mean, some men of his unit. Anyway, he's pushing quite close on my left-hand flank here. You're going to see my general try to come over here and intercept. Trying to get a volley off with my gunners. Very nice volley. We do get a counter charge as well. He does end up getting charged by one of my units, but he also charges mine. He counter charges with his left-hand flank. Not looking amazing, but my gunners are close to support. Meanwhile, across the entire flank, you can see I'm threatening his front line with my spears. I'm going to engage them shortly. My right-hand flank, though, I'm pushing forward my gunners. They are technically firing at his handgunners right now, but surely I'm going to give a direct attack order to hit his cav. I got to kill the cav. If I can kill them, then this battle is going to be a lot easier for me. I pulled out one of my units of cav, getting my gunners to just fire into the massive mess here. If I could snipe his general, that would be incredible. It's unlikely. He's going to try and pull away. I also have my general coming over here to support. You'll see I put him in flying wedge formation. Try and get what we can with that. Anyway, in the meantime, though, the center is now getting engaged. My left-hand flank is crushing into his insanely strong shock infantry. This is a battle my unit is absolutely going to lose, but they are tying up his unit for now. And they will do some hit point damage, get a couple kills. They're going to wear him down slowly. Right-hand flank is looking very similar, though. He's wrapping around as well with his shock infantry. Not good for my men, but my reserves are going to come in and try to help out where possible. You can also see I'm trying to push to the left-hand flank as well. Left-hand flank, speaking of which, we charge directly into his general. Such a risky charge there, and he's getting hit by my gunners. This is incredible. If I can snipe his general, this could really put a serious damper on his morale. His other cavalry unit here is also getting stuck. My men are close to routing, but my gunners are just getting some serious damage in. The right-hand flank as well, we've also had some charges going on. He did manage to charge one of my skirmisher cavalry, sorry. But my gunners are here, again providing constant support to my shock cav, and now my other javelin cav is just throwing their javelins into the mix. Probably a bunch of friendly fire going on, but just as this happens, their general does fall to this little fight over here that we had going on, and both of my cavalry units somehow are still alive. The benefit of having heavy armor is just incredible. So he's lost his general and his cavalry on his right flank, my left. I'm now trying to stop his gunners from trying to snipe my general. He's been chasing it for a little bit. But I have won the flanks. The cavalry is in my favor. He does still have gunners, which can absolutely turn the tide of the battle. I'm going to try and tie them up here. Get a decent little charge, but his infantry is so heavy, it's doubtful that they're actually going to get kills. My general is going to get involved with some charges against his infantry, especially the shock infantry. This is the next unit I need to target. He has another one over here which chomped through my swords and is now eating up my spears for breakfast. And he has gunners in my back line, so not ideal overall. You can see, though, that there is some kind of back and forth here. Some of these units are getting clumped up. I am outflanking. He does end up losing this unit right here. That means that I can now push my swords to attack his crossbows or outflank his infantry. In addition, we just cycle charged his shock infantry, and they ended up routing because of it. Normally they wouldn't, but because he lost his general so early on, it's going to be really, really tough for his men to stay in the fight. He still has this other shock infantry unit over here, though, which is very scary. My gunners over here are definitely targeting them. I even have a direct attack order, as you can see, but they shoot so slow. They're just hanging out for like a minute and then they'll shoot again. So in the meantime, I do have my cavalry trying to target the shock infantry. But they are getting a little bit worn out and caught out. This unit's probably going to rout because it's got polearms next to it, but my general just comes in as well. Very risky charge, to be honest. I don't know why I did that. That's super tricky for me to do with my general. If my general died, then he could still absolutely bring this around. However, he does have a couple routes happen at once on the right. Over here on the left, he also has some. It's starting to really not look good for him. But he does have incredible units alive still. Shock infantry, polearm, very good units. The spear routes so devastating. They were tying up some of my men, but it just wasn't good enough. And then these charges, very lethal. Attila is insane with its charges, and then this mod is no different. You can see my gunners are now targeting his polearms as well. They're going to be a tough unit to crack, so I want to start picking off some of these men. Again, they're not going to kill many, but when they do actually hit the enemy, they're going to get some men. They're going to get some kills. But then by that point, his entire army shatters, and I take the victory for round 1 for the Emirate of Granada. That's it. That's the battle. Let's go ahead and look at the statistics screen, and then we'll move on to not round 2, but round 1, battle 2. Here we are at the statistics screen, everybody. We have a close victory. And you can definitely see that it was close. Look at all my spears. They got absolutely chomped on with only one of the units surviving for a little while. My swordsmen also didn't really get many kills, and half of them got destroyed. So my infantry were never going to do as well as his. When you're playing the Eastern factions, it's kind of just something you got to accept. The Europeans have better infantry. And they can bring armies like his, which are actually smaller than mine. I had 20 units. He brought 17, I believe. So that's quite brave of him to do that, but he had a really high quality army. Honestly, if he didn't lose his general so early on, there was still a very good chance that he could have brought it back. He had some great cavalry. The gunners could have maybe been used a little bit better to deal with my cavalry, but he was still using them quite well and chasing down my general. He also had a crossbow unit and an archer that was trying to harass my men. They didn't get the kills he needed, but they were helpful. But the shock infantry, 241 deaths. That's insane. They killed so many of my men. 90 kills for this unit is not bad, considering I definitely targeted his units. And then the pole arms as well. They got some nice kills in a frontal charge. Kind of threw away my front line in that case. That, and then I just need to be more careful with my general. If I lost him, then it would have been over. But he stayed alive, and because of that, we were able to keep our men going. However, it was a really close battle, so let's see if I can pull it off in battle 2. I'll see you all there. Alrighty, everyone, here we are, battle 2 of round 1. Your boy, Emergaholic versus VO, aka Vo, out there in the distance. He's playing as the County of Toulouse. Very nice faction with some excellent European-based units, of course. And then I am representing the East once again with the Khwarazmian Empire. That's right, I'm playing as the Khwarazmians. A faction I'm not really too familiar with, but I am trying to play as the Eastern factions, at least in round 1. I don't know if I'll continue it for round 2, we'll see. But my recipe so far has been working relatively well, so let's go over my army composition. We'll go over his after that, and then you can see I have some special guests, and we'll see how effective they are in the fighting. Anyway, let's get started. So jumping into the infantry in my front line right here, I have some medium spearmen. These are the Kolokichi spearmen. Oh my goodness, I need to shut up. These are my medium spearmen. Pretty much the same as last time in terms of statistics and whatnot. They do have a slightly smaller shield, but they also again have shield wall, just like the last units. The last battle though, I kind of screwed up with my spears and I didn't let them get into shield wall. So that's going to be a priority for me in this one. Try to help them survive a little bit longer. Then my next follow-up line right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of swords. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of spears. The swords, these guys are nothing too special here. Some mid-tier level swords. But they do have 120 men per unit, which was an intentional choice for me. I really wanted to make sure that they would last quite a while. And again, armor is floating around 40, so good solid mid-level sword. It's not going to get many kills, but I'd be happy if it gets 50 kills and survives for a while. My infantry is not really going to be the main killers. However, I do have shock infantry this time. These are the Turkoman Tabadurans. Tabaduran? Yeah. These guys are insanely strong when it comes to being shock infantry. However, armor is only at 25, which is really low. At least for this mod. So I have 2 of those though, right here. I keep them sort of in the middle, slightly towards the back. That way I can rotate them around the flanks as needed. Maybe plug in gaps, take advantage of certain holes that will form. My cavalry though, I'm doing a very similar setup to the last time. So again, I have another gunner. These are the Venetian matchlock gunners. So not bad at all. Armor 55. 98 men per unit, same on the right hand flank. However, you'll notice my cavalry is very lackluster compared to last time. So we get to the left hand flank, I have mounted Sabazans, and then I have the Mukhta's cavalry, Mukhta. Quite solid, 75 armor, so not as good as last time, but still very good. The mounted Sabazan though, more of a mid-level cav unit. Not really going to get a lot of kills. We then have my general over here. Actually, we're with a historical general. This is Ala ad-Din Muhammad II. Don't know much about him historically, so if you do know, would love to hear your input on it. But anyway, he is our general, armor 55, which is not incredible, but it's good enough for him to get involved. But then here we go, our real ace up the sleeve, our elephants. And these aren't just any elephants. These are elephants with some solid armor at 55, which is not bad for an elephant. I need them to have some protection because they're obviously going to be targeted by his troops. Thankfully, he has not brought archers. And in fact, let's go ahead and check out his army comp and then we'll get into the battle. Alright, here we are with the county of Toulouse. Let's start on the left-hand flank and we'll work our way over. So he has his general right here, which is a Burgomeister. Insane heavy shock cavalry unit, 90 armor again. So this is basically, if you're coming here from DEI, this is like a cataphract unit. Very, very tough. Very good. Could be very difficult to kill. He then has another heavy shock cavalry unit right here, which again is hitting 90 armor. The ordnance Gendarmes? Excellent unit, so, but only 2 cav on the left hand flank. He then has some sergeant handgunners, late version. Again, just nice solid gunner. And he's doing a fairly similar army composition compared to last time. So he has the Textile Cutters Guild Golden Dags, aka another medium pole arm unit. He then has another shock infantry unit. Incredible unit, mate. Disgusting. They're really tough. 65 armor, melee attack 44, melee damage 48. If they hit anything, it's gonna die. It's just redonkulous and very, very scary. But that's the dismounted men-at-arms. He then has a front line. Let's look at the front line. Let me spin around this way, just so you can see from his point of view. Okay, so on the left-hand flank, he has 2 sets of swordsmen right here, but they are different. So he has the Fishmonger's Guild swordsman, pretty decent mid-level sword, nothing too crazy. And then he has the Brewer's Guild Falconeers, another mid-level sword unit. But then he moves on to having some spearmen. He has a Brotherhood of St. Sebastian spearmen right here, quite solid, 55 armor. Same thing here. Further on down though, he then has a bit of a reflection on the left-hand flank. So Brewer's Guild Falconeers, Fishmonger's Guild swordsmen as well, more dismounted men-at-arms, another Textile Cutters Guild polearm unit, more sergeant handgunners on the right-hand flank, and then he has 2 more units of cavalry right here. 1 men-at-arms late version, 90 armor, so again, excellent. And then he has the Jousters of the White Bear. Incredible. That's so scary. So he absolutely has a cav advantage in this fight. The last one, I think it was leaning back towards me. But in this case, my cavalry is fewer in number and lower in quality. Yes, I do have the elephants, but his infantry are also way better than mine. So I got doubts on this one. Let's see if I can pull it off. Let's go ahead and jump into the battle, and I'll see you once the armies get a little bit closer. Alright everyone, here we go. The armies are getting quite close to one another. Again, he's spreading out his cavalry super wide alongside the gunners to support them. So he's doing a very similar setup to mine, although you'll see that I'm a lot more condensed with my army, so he's automatically already outflanking me, essentially. Not a bad tactic, although it does mean that his cavalry is going to be isolated. He's hit me with those spaghetti lines too. Helps his men avoid matchlock gunner damage, but if I charge that directly, he's going to suffer that. I'm going to try and get some little snips with my gunners over here. Going to creep them forward. Unfortunately, at the time of this recording on the MK1212 mod, the gunners have the same range as an archer essentially. So you can see right here, I'm about to shoot at these men because they're entering into my range. Let's see how they do. I'm shooting over his men for the most part. Not ideal. I only get like 1 or 2 kills. My right hand flank, I'm still being fairly defensive, although I have shifted my whole army over here to the right. Just because he is surrounding me so heavily. I'm actually pretty intimidated by this. I don't really know what to do at this point. in my brain, I'm thinking I need to just let him make mistakes because I feel like with his cavalry, he is making mistakes. He's getting them way too isolated. Like, look at this. His general's way out here. Right now, if I were to charge his cavalry and they got stuck there, good chance I could assassinate him. So you're going to see me push forward with my cav right here. My general's also coming over. Meanwhile, the left-hand flank, I tried a cheeky little tactic where I get my gunners to hit his cavalry. They're going to get some nice kills, instantly dropping 5 of his men as I retreated my cavalry first. This is going to be a big win, though. Big potential win for whoever takes it. So I charge one of my cav units directly into his. I know it's going to lose it. But with my other cav unit that had the attack order from his men, I'm going to just run them back. And the entire time, my gunners are going to be picking at his men, trying to get as many kills as they can. He does end up changing to charge against my gunners. They are armored though, so I'm expecting that they should do okay against his men. The right-hand flank, he's actually still flanking around, but hasn't made contact. Instead of going for my gunners though, he ends up going for my cavalry. This is excellent for me. I'm going to go ahead and hammer him with my anvil as my gunners are trying to pick off his men. If he tries to pull out, he's going to take some pretty serious damage. Granted, I have sacrificed this one unit, but it will come back from routing, and it's done the job. It's allowed me to tie up 2 of these very heavy cav units, and I've gotten a lot of kills. They're almost down halfway. At least one of them's almost down halfway. However, micromanagement mistake. You can see I didn't notice that he was charging up his shock infantry against my gunners. I can't let that happen. So now it's time for plan B, or plan E, should I say. Elephants are coming to get involved. On the right-hand flank, we haven't had too much happen yet, except I did chase off his gunners with my swordsman. He'll definitely lose if he allows that to happen. So you can see I'm getting my gunners involved against his general and cavalry. And then my cav is going to be trying to charge his general. My infantry in the center are still holding for now. Trying to micromanage on the flanks, because this really is entirely all about the flanks. My elephants are dangerously close to his gunners at this point, but I'm really just wanting to smash his cavalry. One of them is routed, which is very nice. That and his gunners are targeting my cav. So my elephants are going to go in, get a charge. However, in the meantime, I ended up sneaking in a charge against his general, so a micromanagement mistake on his part. And he got charged directly. I'm rushing over my gunner to support, and I might even move my general over. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see. Left-hand flank, though, my swordsmen are engaging his. I'm also bringing over my axemen to help support and taking out his. But my elephants are still on a roll. They're going to try to get his cavalry. He's not too quick with the micro on them, so I'm absolutely going to be trying to target them. He's trying to snipe my general right now with his, what do you call it, gunners over there. Meantime, though, his general is still stuck in a grind-out fight. This is absolutely not what he's after. My general's coming over to support, but in the meantime, my gunner's again picking off his heavy cavalry, and my general is actually a horse archer. So that's going to be interesting for him. But anyway, we keep cruising on. End up shattering one of his cav units. This other one out here is almost completely gone. Now it's time to hit his shock infantry. And we're going to get some nice kills pretty friggin' quickly. The elephants are so strong. I had no idea this is one of the first times I've used them. I've only done them in a couple fights so far. But that is what it is. Meanwhile, the front line is finally engaged. I have my spearmen, for the most part, just holding in shield wall. But my swordsmen, I'm sending around the flanks. So you're going to see me try and sneak them into here. Where are my axemen? I also have one axeman that went through and pushed through, is chopping up one of his sword units. So they're going to do really nice. But he has tied up one of my gunners. Unfortunately, I was, again, poor on my micro. Wasn't able to stop them. My general has charged in to try and kill his general. So very risky again with my general. It's a theme I'm noticing personally. I'm sure you all are too. Elephants have destroyed his shock infantry and are now chasing down the last of his cavalry out here on the left. My shock infantry is about to rout. Wasn't really able to support them too much since they have so many skirmishers. My gunners are picking at his men. However, this time it's a little bit different because my center is absolutely eating him up. This one shock infantry unit that managed to go in here they're doing some serious damage. We now have his pike unit outflanked right here. Brewer's Guild pikeman. I'm not sure if I pointed him out earlier. He has turned around, which I didn't realize in time. I thought that he actually was still facing forward, so that's something I need to go ahead and do. His shock infantry are trying to chase down my gunners. I really got to protect them. I need them for the late game. So again, another risky charge with my general. But they're going to get some nice kills. Cavalry charging the infantry is often a good little gamble to take. His general is still alive though. So this again is showing just how powerful these units are. Shock infantry routing, thank God. Need to get my general out of the bloody way though. My gunners are getting attack orders to attack his cavalry. So I'll be getting on that. My swordsmen will also be getting involved in attacking his gunners. Elephants are moving away from his crossbows and gunner on the left. Absolutely got to keep them away. They are still my precious. I have to keep them alive. He still has cavalry. I do have one unit cav way out there, which I didn't realize for quite a while. Came back. Bit of a mistake on my part, but I'm also trying to micromanage all of this infantry. You can see that we're outflanking him quite quickly, so I'm really trying to push that advantage while I'm also trying to get my elephants involved. My gunners are attacking his gunners right now, so they'll get some kills here and there, but it's not going to be too quick. But what he ends up doing is also smashing and outflanking my right-hand flank of infantry, which is not great. So I'm going to lose a couple units to that. I do have a cavalry unit, coming back, which I'm going to try to sneak in a little cheeky charge. We'll see if we can get it. Spearmen are going to charge forward into his cav to try and tie them down, although his polearms are somehow chasing them down. My general still just holding, hanging out, having a good time, and we have gunners that are going to be attacking his general shortly. Meanwhile, my elephants have come in and made a grand entrance against his infantry. So far, they've just charged into the center here, but you can see I'm trying to get him out of there, and then we're going to outflank because we did just rout his men right here. Pikeman is about to rout, completely surrounded. Meanwhile, he has another pike unit over here that I'm going to be charging my elephants into, I believe, shortly. Left-hand flank, swords chasing down gunners. I don't mind if I sacrifice a unit here or there to stop his really powerful units from messing me up. Fortunately, my gunners on my right routed. They will come back. Thankfully, my general is still alive. And he's still trying to harass the enemy general with the bows that my general has. We do have these gunners over here tied up, which is nice, but he gets a devastating charge. Ooh, brutal against my spearmen. Insane charge. Very, very nice stuff. My general is trying to stop his general from escaping and whatnot. Do I charge this? I believe I do. Oh, here we go. Boom. Decent charge, although he does pull his general all the way through. Well, it charged all the way through, and then he tries to get it out and then charge back in. Nice micromanagement for him to do that. I did not realize that at the time. However, while all of that's going on, the center is getting absolutely wrapped up by my men. My elephants have proved to be super decisive. 150 kills. They've just routed his elephants. I mean, his pikemen. Polearms are routing as well. Swords are routing. You'll notice, though, that I have to have my men chase down his men. I can't let them just rout. You got to shatter them off the field. Meantime, he also has another polearm. Trying to pull my swords away, but he just is relentless in charging them. At this point, though, his general finally routs. He doesn't die, though. So we don't have the massive morale hit that you get when you actually kill an enemy general. But I'll still take a rout. I'm going to be happy with that. My gunners are going to be coming up to try and pick at his routing shock infantry. Because, look, they come straight back from routing almost instantly. That's just the nature of things. He has another gunner unit, too. Left-hand flank, my elephants are still going strong. By this point, I've only lost one elephant. Despite him trying to target it eventually. It's just not really been good enough, unfortunately, for him. Fortunately for me, though, I'm trying to keep my infantry in a nice, decent clump. There will be some outlying units that I'll use to chase down his men, like my elephants right here. Here they come. Charge directly into the side of these pikemen, although they go in front and then attack the pikemen head on, so it's kind of awkward. I don't know how they're not routing it. It's kind of insane. And then his crossbowman ends up attacking my men as well. While they're doing that though, we've carved up the last of his remaining units on the right. He has absolutely nothing out here now. He just has a couple units that he still needs to have route right here, back here, and over there in the distance. Finally, I realized that that cav unit came back from routing, so they're going to run back. All 13 men. That does not look like 13. But anyway, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, as much as I'd love to say he could bring it back, he has 2 units. It's just not going to happen at this point. It's very nice and lucky that I brought in the elephants because he did excellent with his cav. Although he did get a bit unlucky with his general. He got it trapped in, and then when I charged it, in addition to having my matchlock gunners there to scare his men and kill a few, that was enough. And then my shock infantry did fantastic. 230 kills for a unit that's pretty low armor is amazing. Really, really nice stuff. So this is actually a bit of a sort of contrast to that first battle, where the first battle I had no infantry at the end. The second battle I actually have a lot more infantry. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out these statistics, and then we'll end it there. Okay, first off, I want to hand out a GG's to Vo, aka VO. Really appreciate you joining me for the battles, mate. Fantastic player, did a lot of really great moves. Unfortunately, just the odds were not in his favor in this case. The Khwarazmians came here real big for me, though, with these elephants. Woo! They're one of the very few factions that do have elephants, but it was really fun using them. My cavalry was never going to get too many kills, but they needed to survive until the late game, and they actually did, despite his very nice cavalry that he brought in addition to like skirmishers and gunners. So it's almost a bit confusing on how I managed to win the flanks. My right hand flank took quite a long time to win, but eventually we did. My left, though, it was a bit more decisive, so I think I just was able to use those Venetian matchlocks. They only have 25 kills each. They cost like 1,000, but they are really worth it, because again, whatever they do hit, they're gonna kill. So those 25 kills are against his extremely heavy knights for the most part. So that's really, really valuable to me. That's cutting down like half a unit of these knights each. Really, really nice. My spearmen, you can see they do way better. Why? Because they were in shield wall this time. They actually even got some decent kills, 60 plus almost across the board. I'll take that any day of the week. My swordsmen, pretty sort of similar story to tell compared to last time. Some of them got destroyed, some of them did really nice. There is definitely still more of them left compared to last time though. In addition, shock infantry, I actually brought some this time, and they were just so decisive. 231 kills for one of them. They managed to punch through the center of the enemy and then just start chomping him up and turning him out from the inside out. If he targeted them a little bit more like, say, crossbows, that would have been pretty devastating, I think. But he also had my cav and my elephants to target. So it's really tough on who you can actually use. Ala Adin Muhammad did quite well, 122 kills for a pretty mid-level general, so good on you, mate. Meanwhile, the rest of his army, though, this is where it's actually a bit of a weird sort of situation where the European infantry actually just didn't match up as well to the Easterners. The Khwarazmian Empire does not have very good infantry either. I mean, it's decent, and it does have more elite options than what I presented here, but the elephants were so expensive. I believe I only have 19 units in this group as well, whereas the last one I had 20. Same for him though, so we have pretty similar numbers. He has just a few extra more than me, nothing to write home about. But yeah, his main line just could not hold long enough. I think if he managed to hold that main line, battle's gonna swing a lot more in his favor, but his swords, which is so weak, didn't really contribute much at all. His pikes were doing okay, but they got outflanked. Same thing for his polearm. And then spearmen were kind of irrelevant. So despite him actually playing as a faction that I would consider to be better infantry-wise, he ended up doing really good on the flanks, but the center was where he struggled. At least on one of his flanks, and his left he did excellent. His right, though, he got chopped up pretty quickly. My gunners just did such a nice job in addition to those elephants. So, unfortunately, VO is out of the tournament, but now I move on to round 2 and play whoever is coming up next. So that's going to be pretty insane. This is my first actual proper tournament I'm playing in, so I'm excited to try my best and see what happens. But anyway, everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you stay tuned, as there's going to be more videos from this tournament coming up. I'll also be covering semi-finals and the grand final, just like I have been in the last tournament. So make sure that you're paying attention, subscribe, check out Discord as well, link down below. Especially if you yourself want to get involved in Total War tournaments, we have more historical tournaments on the way very soon. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.